Welcome back to the Broke Diaspora, and it's another beautiful day here in Ghana. Thank you so much for joining us here today at Project Denchira. This is episode 17, and it is temporary structure demolition. So if you're new to this channel, please subscribe so you can get notifications and be part of this wonderful and fast-growing community. Isn't there a saying that you have to break a few eggs to make an omelet? Or maybe in construction that doesn't really apply, but just in general, life in general, sometimes we have to destroy something in order to even build something much more beautiful at the place, right? So this is the crossroads that we find ourselves at here at Project Denchira, where we need to destroy so much investment that we did few years ago. And I think a lot of people, a lot of you guys might find yourself in the same situation. So this is why I find it important for me to expose some of my bad decisions and mistakes that I've made in order for you guys to avoid those same mistakes, right? If you own a land in Ghana, then you know that one of the common ways to secure your land is usually building a temporary structure and having someone, usually a caretaker, to be present on your site or on the land. Usually it's not just enough to just have your wall and no presence and no human presence on there. Sometimes in the beginning it works, but later on you start to get issues if there is truly no presence or people actually occupying the place. So building these temporary structures are not a new thing when it comes to land ownership in Ghana. But the biggest question now is what happens when it's time to actually break down or destroy that huge investment that was made a few years ago, right? So here at Project Denchira, this is, you can see this is the footage on my CCTV camera showing you another great day that my team is on the site. And the goal today is demolition of the temporary structure that you can see on the right side there, that someone is sitting there, and we are getting some materials out of that temporary structure. Why are we ready to do this? The temporary structure was being used also for storage, right? So now we actually have a different area available that we can also use for storage. You know from the previous videos or episodes that we casted the polytank structures on the left and right structure. So finally those places are available to be used for storage, where even if it rains, it's protected and shielded from rain and sun, right? Now we need to destroy this temporary structure to make way for the 2 stores and the studio bedroom that is on top of the 2 stores. If you go back to the 3D images, you would see exactly what I'm talking about. So this temporary structure, we built it about 2 years ago, and here is mistake number 1: timeline. When I was building the temporary structure, it was a time where I wasn't really sure exactly when I would be ready to start Project Denchira, as my focus was on different projects already. So we built the temporary structure thinking maybe we could be ready for Project Denchira in about 5 years and plus, right? And so it was a great idea to build it. And if we're going to have a temporary structure for about 5 years and someone is supposed to live in there, I wanted to make it a little bit comfortable, even though it's a temporary structure. So the things that we did on there, it's a single room with a front little porch, right, that can be used for a kitchen, a place to cook. So that's what we did at Project Denchira. Now we plastered the interior, the inside and the outside. We also did even ceiling, like roofing, or the ceiling, right? So obviously roofing, but we also did some ceiling just to make it nice. All wiring for electrical was done. So now that we are ready to bring that down, it hurts so much knowing all the money that went into that, and it was just for a couple of years. So my learning is, in the future I don't have to spend that much money in just doing something temporary for a caretaker. We didn't need to plaster the outside nor even the inside for someone to sleep there, right? It still needed to have a safety roof on their head, the gates and doors for their safety, right? And even the safety of items that are being kept there. But I think I went extra. So today what we're trying to do, instead of just bringing the bulldozer to knock everything down, we're trying to see how much of the wood and how much of the the roofing sheets that we can actually save. So that's why I have a team of my carpenters on site. We're first moving all the materials that were being kept in those rooms, in that room, to actually a different place. And the carpenter's job would be to remove all the woods intact, whatever can be saved. So the window frames, the door frames, every wood that can be saved will be saved intact, just like that. And we can use those same materials for a different site that we need to maybe build a temporary structure at, right? So the first mistake is done by building that structure like this. But now, how can we minimize all the losses? So, thank you once again for joining me. I hope this is an episode that you will find valuable, because if you are watching me, then high chances are that you are in the middle of building or thinking about building, and you most likely might be trying to do a temporary structure just to have a caretaker there. So, advice for you: you can still do something safe and nice without all these extra costs that I went to on a structure that we have to unfortunately bring down in less than 2 years, right? So once the carpenters are able to save what they can save, the next stage or part 2 will be my masons coming in to try to break it down. But also we have a strategy that we can try to save also on the blocks, right? So some of the blocks will be able to reuse it again for the next construction, the next project that's coming on there, but some of them might not be able to save it. So if you have workers that actually do care and will take their time, they can actually save a lot of those blocks or bricks for you. So this is it. You can see that all the roofing sheets have been removed one at a time. Those have all been carried away to different places for safety. And we're going to also, now that after the roofing sheets, they can actually remove also the wood that were used to do the framing, right, before the roofing sheets were placed. So we're trying to get this done in just one day. That's why you see a lot of people on site, so that we can just knock this down in one day. After that, we'll just get our masons to come in, and that would be with big hammers to just try to knock all the brick laying down, and also they have to do digging to remove all the old foundation that we did for that single room. Good thing is we didn't go that deep because it was just a temporary structure, so still a lot of work, but we can do this. So thanks for joining. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. Be part of this wonderful and growing community, so you can see all the mistakes that I'm doing, whether it comes to construction or how I earn my daily 1 Ghana cedis here in Ghana. So you can see that they're also moving some of the iron rods that we had. The iron rods were not inside the room, it was next to the room, so we still have to move everything away from there because we're bringing the whole thing down, and all that space will be used for our next project, which I'm so excited about, right? So you guys can see the window and the door frame intact coming out, so it's easy for us to transport them to the next location as we're getting ready to building also a single room for a caretaker over there, right? So the idea is we have to keep the same dimensions as this one so that we're able to use the exact same materials as well, right? So that's the goal. See the other window as well, the other window frame being taken down. So now you can see that the single room, unfortunately I did not turn my CCTV camera. In the next videos you get a better view. but you can see that it's pretty much becoming just like a skeleton, right? That's the skeleton of the room. When all the woods are removed, it would only be blocks, cement, and concrete there. So we will be ready to just knock it down. That's it. So guys, if you're thinking about building a temporary structure, do it very basic, please. And one of my ideas, actually something I'm hoping to work on in the long run, is to actually just use containers, like one of the small ones, right, that I can actually customize the inside, make it livable, but it can be moved from side to side. So if I have a site, I bring my container there. That's where the caretaker would be living. I'm talking about a well-furnished one, right? A nicely done one. So when we're done with one site, I can just transport that same container to a different site. So that's what I'm thinking. But for now, we had to still just use the block to build something very basic. So tell me in the comment section there, what do you do on your land for the caretaker, right? Hopefully you're not building a boys quarters or something actually even larger than what I did, because you can see the losses right now, right? All the labor that went into it, the materials that went into it, right? It wasn't that cheap. So this is my mistakes for today. I hope it was another informative video that you found valuable. And just stick around, wait for the next video where you can see the second part of demolition, where we're actually doing the blocks demolition or the bricks demolition, and digging down to bring out the old foundation. So again, this is the Broke Diasporian, where I just show you guys that it is possible to do it as a normal everyday Ghanaian. Thank you for joining my journey.